What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, today's subject matter is embrace the uncertainty. All right. And we are, it seems, at least for me, since 2008, have been living in times of constant change, constant uncertainty, lack of stability. And truth be told, is the world is in a certain place, okay? Change, taxes, and death are the only certain things in life. So, truth be told, the norm is uncertainty, not certainty. This is why people have this obsession with control, creating systems, routines, um, building, organizations and organizing everything in their life. It's because of this fear of uncertainty. But when you really think about it, when you sit down and take the time to contemplate the reality of life and your guaranteed destination of death, it is uncertainty that is the norm, not certainty. Going through life, you have no idea what kind of life you're going to lead. You're born into a life you didn't choose, so you're born into uncertainty. You go through life pretty much having to deal with whatever life throws at you, so you're dealing with uncertainty. And if you've had any doubt about the two previous life points at birth and going through life, you most certainly are dealing with a very uncertain situation when you die, because whether you like it or not, you have no idea what happens after. This might be it. It might be the end when you die, or there might be an afterlife, or you might reintegrate into a bigger consciousness, whatever you believe in, whatever the case may be. In reality, in the material reality we live in, you don't know what's going to happen to you after death. So, the rule is that the world is uncertain, and the exception is the certainty we as human beings attempt to create, to delude ourselves into thinking that we are in control of our destiny, that we are in control of what happens to us and in life. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying abandon your sense of self agency and taking charge of your life and steering your own ship in life. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is understand that even when you do that, you're still not in control of anything. You are still dealing with a lot of uncertainty. Now, uncertainty is like this boogeyman. It has this negative, bad connotations with it. I've never ever heard anyone speak about uncertainty in a positive light. When you think about it, it's neither good nor bad. It's how we choose to label the uncertain events that happen to us. You winning the lottery, for example, which is a very low probability and uncertain event, you tend to label it as positive. But you getting into a car accident, which is an uncertain event because you don't plan for it, you label it negatively. Why do you do that? I mean, where did that come from? That comes from conditioning and the fact that we label feelings just because you feel bad or you feel good. These are labels, they're conditioned labels. Just because you experience feelings in relation to uncertain events does not mean they're either good nor bad. They just are. They are uncertain events and you're going through feelings, okay? The function of feelings isn't really to make you see things in a positive or negative light, okay? It's to energize you. Emotions create energy, and energy creates action. Okay? And once you understand that, you stop looking at feelings and emotions as a result of uncertain events in the light of good or bad. Instead, you look at it in terms of energy. Even uncertain events, catastrophic uncertain events, like you losing your job, like you losing your girlfriend or wife, for example, or any form of what you perceive as a loss, at the end of the day, it creates an opportunity for you to be energized, to pursue something that most certainly, okay, and here's the certainty, if you take action and act on that new energy, you'll have something better, more fulfilling, and something that you would never have had imagined before had you not trodden off of the safe path, of the certain path at least you thought you were on. Does that make sense for you guys? I feel like it's a bit complex of an idea, so I'm trying my best to really simplify it. But what I'm saying here is that embrace the uncertainty. If you're dealing with uncertainty in life, be happy that you're dealing with it. Be happy that it came to you. Because you can look at it as a bad thing because it's throwing a change in your life and you're abandoning what you know and you're comfortable with. Or you can look at it as a way to get excited about what else is coming my way. What else is life gonna unfold for me? What am I going to get to experience? And to put things into perspective, I was watching the other day a video on how excitement and anxiety are processed in the brain. And apparently, and again, don't take my word for it, do your research, but that was by a psychologist doing the video. And she was talking about how in the brain, excitement and anxiety are processed as the same exact thing. Your brain doesn't know the difference between excitement and anxiety. Okay? So that was mind-boggling for me, because that means that what we perceive a lot of the time as anxiety, okay, resulting, for example, from uncertainty, is really just a label we created ourselves. Our brain doesn't know the difference. Our brain just thinks, oh, okay, there's a rush of energy here, and that energy is available to you to do something with. But we sit down and interpret or label that energy how we've been conditioned or chose to do in life unknowingly, okay? And to give you an example of that, and the guys out there are going to relate to this, you see a cute girl you find attractive, you want to talk to, and then basically you want to go talk to her, but you don't. You get very anxious, your heart speeds up, you get this pit in your stomach, you're worried about whether she's going to turn you down or not. And basically what you're experiencing, at least from your point of view, is what's known as approach anxiety, right? Because you don't want to get rejected. You don't want to feel that the girl you desired or wanted said no to you. And then basically you don't do anything. But you labeled it as anxiety when it could have been also excitement. Again, your brain doesn't know the difference. It just gives you this rush of energy, and how you label that energy impacts what sort of action you take. If you interpret it as anxiety, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to approach the girl. And then you go home really resenting yourself and hating yourself for being a coward, which every guy is aware of this or has experienced this at some point or time in their life. Yours truly has been guilty of that. Not anymore, thankfully, but I've been there. I know what that feels like. And then I get the same feeling now also Every time I'm about to talk to a girl or a woman that I'm potentially interested in, but I don't interpret it as anxiety anymore. For me, it's about getting excited about meeting a new person, a potential lover, a potential, wife and mother of my kids, maybe. Um, and it all comes down to the language semantics you use to label that feeling, you know? And if you look at this situation, approaching a woman, you never know how she's going to react to you. So it's an uncertain event. So it creates a set of emotions in you, right? Which is the anxiety or the excitement. And then you basically label it in whatever light you choose. Now, if you've, again, to be fair to everyone out there, not to say that this is just how things ideally should be, but if you are somebody that has never had I don't want to say good luck, but if your approaches have never been successful with women, guess what's going to happen when you get that rush of energy? You're, as you anticipate approaching a woman and you don't know what the outcome is going to be, you're going to get anxious, right? Because you've had negative experiences with these women. At least you interpret them as negative because it could have been a blessing, right? That woman said no to you. She could be bipolar, she could be toxic. You never know. But because you didn't get the anticipated, expected, desired outcome you were looking for, then you interpret that event or situation negatively, and then you end up conditioning yourself to have anxiety every time you approach a woman because in the face of that uncertainty, in the face of not knowing what sort of outcome you can get, you end up developing anxiety. Okay, or at least you label the energy as anxiety. But on the other side of the coin, if you're somebody who's had this rush of energy and feeling, and you approach a woman and you got rewarded for it by her reciprocating your advances and basically giving you a positive outcome that you were seeking, guess what's going to happen? You are going to label those feelings arising from this uncertain encounter or event as excitement, as positive. It is such a mind fuck. I wish they teach these things to us as children when we are younger. Because instinctually, we act like we like you see it in children. They act unreserved and they don't interpret outcomes, uncertain situations or events are negative or positive. They just go through an event, they act, then they encounter a set of emotions or feelings, right? But they don't get hung up or stuck on, I guess, the outcome of the event and have it shape their behavior. Like a baby, when it starts to learn to stand up and walk, it doesn't know if it's going to be able to do it successfully or not. It falls a lot of times, right? It cries because it's frustrating, but it keeps pushing through. Do you see what I mean? The uncertainty of its ability to stand and walk and the frustration in trying to achieve this outcome, the baby doesn't sit there and think, oh, I can't do this. Like, I'm not meant to do this. So I'm never going to try again. Or I'll sit down because every time I try to do this, it gives me anxiety. No, it keeps trying over and over and over. Because babies do not have this concept of positive or negative. They just experience emotions and feelings and they just go after what they want, regardless of they achieve the outcome they want right away or not. Honestly, we can learn so much about how human beings were meant to live naturally by looking at babies. But anyways, I think, I don't know where I'm going with this conversation at this point. But to take it back to where I originally was talking about. Embrace the uncertainty, man, or gal out there if you're watching this. Embrace the uncertainty. A lot of the times, uncertainty can lead to things or outcomes that you don't desire. But also, it can lead to outcomes that you could not even imagine or fathom. And it could make you so much more happier than you could have ever anticipated. So don't be scared of uncertainty. Take it one step at a time. All right. The best thing you can do when you're dealing with any uncertain events, circumstances, or situation is not to try to control the situation or prevent the change to happen to you. Instead, learn to manage your inner state, your emotions, and have the control over yourself and the discipline over yourself to follow through regardless of the outcome. Okay? And if you feel at some point going through uncertain circumstances, fatigued, and you need to rest, by all means do that. Take the time and rest. Sometimes taking off one day to recharge will make you more efficient and push you through faster than just trying to constantly grind when you are tired and exhausted. Okay? So, embrace the uncertainty. It's actually the natural state we as human beings are meant to exist in. Okay? And recognize that you're not really scared of uncertainty. You are excited about it. But again, you don't know how to label it because you didn't have enough life experience to know how to deal with it. Because once you know how to deal with uncertainty, you start getting excited about it because you become in that mental frame of, well, what kind of information I need to deal with this? How can I move forward? What is this teaching me? Okay? You got to understand that uncertainty for us human beings is very important for our own development, for our growth, okay? And to mature as people and as individuals. So don't be scared of uncertainty, okay? Don't be scared of change. Don't be scared of emotions. Don't label events. And don't worry about not achieving the outcome you wanted on your own terms or timelines. Sometimes that is a blessing, okay? It might not seem that way at the moment or looking to the future, but it is a blessing, and it will definitely make sense when you look back, because you always connect the dots looking back, not at the moment or looking into the future. Okay? With that said, you guys, embrace uncertainty. I'm going to wrap it up here. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to consider subscribing to the channel, giving me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below. Feel free to engage with me. Otherwise, as per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.